The deep defense was led by Cornell Green, a college basketball All-American who became a football All-Pro. Green lent maturity.
Cornell Green was All-Pro for the second straight year. The balance of both offensive and defensive units was the overriding factor in 3 key Dallas victories late in the season.
Sonny Jurgensen tries to rally the Redskins, but Cornell Green's interception wipes out the last threat. The final score, Dallas 27, Washington 7.
Teamwork is a Cowboy trademark. Big number 77, Jim Colvin, bursts through the skins. His penetration forces a fumble, allowing Cornell Green to record a score.
Last quarter, the Giants try a crucial field goal, but the Cowboys specialty team performs their specialty. Green blocks the kick, and Obert Logan does the rest. Pro Bowl in Los Angeles, the Dallas defensive stalwarts highlighted the big win for the East. Cornell Green and Mel Renfro also had their big moments in the Pro Bowl.
On the 13-yard line on 3rd and 10. Slow motion, King Hill the quarterback. Good protection by the offensive line as Hill goes to the air. He's going for Pogue down the 9. Pogue is dropped right there, a 4-yard advance. The action hot and heavy at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Texas.
With just minutes remaining, Wood elects to throw. Cornell Green steps in front of Bobby Crispino, and that is that. The Dallas Cowboys, in an awesome display of balance and power, defeat the Giants 52-7.
We have a tied ball game, 10-10 here in the 3rd quarter. That's Hope. Cornell Green making a driving tackle. Loss of 10 yards in the play. Steelers have the football. They have the lead, 17-10. Bill Nelson. Good time. Now he has to roll out. Intercepted by Cornell Green. Nelson was over the line of scrimmage, but the important thing is the Cowboys have the football.
Along with speed and an appetite for aggression, there is also a little luck involved.
Now it's 3rd down at the Minnesota 33. 3rd and 10, a big play for Tarkenton. Intended for Paul Flatley, but broken up beautifully by Cornell Green.
7 yards, and Cornell Green gets up to get a closer look. Ernie Green turning the corner. He gets 6 yards and a 1st down as he's stopped by Cornell Green.
Defensive pillar Cornell Green is glum here as the Steelers hold, and the Cowboys are forced to call on Danny Villanueva.
Redskins ball on their own 27. Jurgensen. Intended for Bobby Mitchell.
Now it's Dick Hoke with the option pass. However, he is being dropped for a loss of 2 by Cornell Green. Now Smith to Gary Bowman, who takes it for 10 and a 1st down again. Number 34, Cornell Green on the tackle. The fumble came after the whistle had blown. Von Smith to Roy Jefferson. It's incomplete. Ryan now to Collins for 5 yards, and Cornell Green comes up to run him out of bounds. Frank Ryan to Gary Collins. Again a 7. Cornell Green hanging on. Cornell Green looking on. As the Dallas Cowboys, Cleveland now has the ball on the Dallas 9-yard line. Frank Ryan to Gary Collins. Deflected by Cornell Green.
Now on 3rd and 10. Knopfsinger trying to move the Cardinals in close. Throws deep for Bobby Joe Conrad. Broken up by Green. Terry Knopfsinger to Bobby Joe Conrad for 3 yards. 14. Following a missed field goal, the Cards get still another chance. 1:36 remains. Knopfsinger intercepted by Cornell Green. The good Dallas defense coming up with that football, and the flag goes down. Another 15 yards for Ryan. On 1st down, Jurgensen to Bobby Mitchell. Cornell Green hit him just as he caught the ball. Again. This is Whitfield, who was the property of the Cowboys, as he turns in a fine run. Green took him out of bounds. A gain of 41 yards. Take a look at that again from the end zone camera. This is Whitfield, and Cornell Green, who is the left cornerbacker, came all the way across the field to make the tackle.
Now it's 3rd down and 9. And it is picked off by Cornell Green of Dallas. Finally brought down by Pete Case at the Giant 20.
It was the inspired and destructive qualities of Doomsday that led the Dallas Cowboys to another Eastern Conference title and their second appointment with destiny. The deep defense was led by number 34, Cornell Green, a perennial all-pro selection who unquestionably had his finest year. Doomsday defense denied New Orleans time after time until late in the last period they seemed certain to run out of miracles. Fumbles, interceptions, and the absence of the big play. A withering rush was applied to young quarterback Jim Hart, and he succumbed to the pressure, as did veteran.
Rams ball at their 35, and Gabriel is throwing long. Bernie Casey has a step on Cornell Green, but the pass is underthrown. Dick Bass on a sweep meets a host of hard-pursuing Dallas defenders and can manage only 3 yards.
Second came when Cornell Green intercepted in the end zone.
but fate saved its crew, had to come back to earth. Gary Quazzo's next pass was intercepted by Cornell Green, who fumbled it into the end zone to an alert Mel Renfro, number 20.
Trailing 17-14 after a Dallas field goal, the Cardinals were driving. This one play, more than any other, changed the entire complexion of the game. Cornell Green picked off Hart's pass and shut down a potential St. Louis scoring chance.
Myra was a one-man gang for the 49ers today. When he didn't throw, he showed Dallas that he could run like a halfback.
If it was as cold as I'll ever be in my life, I'll never be that cold again. I will move before I be that cold again. Well, the first year we played the Packers and lost to them, they had a much better football team than I think we did. We had a lot of young guys. We had a very young team, and that was giving us a year of growing up. And when we first played Green Bay in the first game in Dallas, we were just happy to be there. I think most of the guys were just happy. Jesus, we playing the Green Bay Packers in the championship game. And we played them close, and we played them a pretty good game.
As the Cowboys annihilated the Browns.
That game, we were ready. We just knew that they wasn't going to beat us, not the way we were playing at that time, and we were playing good and we were playing strong, and it was just no chance. Cleveland had no chance.
Here's the Dallas defense. Towns, Pugh, Lilly, and Andre across the front. A veteran linebacking crew of Howley, Jordan, and Edwards. The deep backs are Green, Johnson, Gector, and Renfro.
When your feet get cold, you have no feeling in your whole walking. You can't even feel yourself walking. And so you guys would come over and they'd take your cleats and put them up into that heater. But the only problem was it was melting the rubber on your shoes. It was just melting and falling off, and so you could smell it burning. You know, that's when you knew somebody was on fire around there. You said, you burning up, and they just move the feet and put it back down in the ice, cool it off, and stick it back up there. After you forget about how cold it is and all the other things are going through your mind, you just figured you got to play football because they wasn't going to cancel the game and they wasn't going to call it off. So you better get in here and try to play and try to win, and that's when we just start playing better. Fans were tough. Stay out there and watch that game. I have to give them a lot of credit. There's some tough people in Green Bay.
Their conditions are worsening by the minute as Starr will pass. Complete to Dollar for a first down.
Ground was hard, frozen. The ice was frozen on the ground. It was sharp as a razor. I mean, if you fell on the ground, you could rip your jerseys to shreds just like somebody taking a razor and cutting it. I seriously doubt it. That was the greatest game ever played. No, that's taking in a lot of football games. Under the conditions, it was probably the greatest game ever played.
The last line of the defense was the secondary. Their mission was to stop the play any way possible. And remained resolute, while the offense was sometimes inconsistent. Through the remaining 5 games, 2 things would remain constant. The defense would maintain its excellence, and the Dallas Cowboys would never lose.
Just before the half, left linebacker Chuck Howley intercepted, and aided by Cornell Green's block, he gave the Cowboys a comfortable 25-point halftime lead.
Then Brunet was tripped up for a yard loss by Cornell Green. The isolated camera and Green, one of the fine cornerbacks in the game, gave us a lesson on how to play a run as he burrowed under his blocker to snare his victim. A play such as this is difficult and painful.
Cole, and you can see the Cowboys' defensive excellence. Cole's charge shrouded Cap's vision, and he threw blindly to all-pro cornerback Cornell Green, number 34, who raced 55 yards for a touchdown. The Cowboys' might is a double-edged sword. If you stop their offense, the chances are rare you can overcome their doomsday defense as well. This is why they are undefeated and what will probably lead them to the throne room door.
Behind the linebackers was the secondary. Their job is the toughest in pro football. Defensive backs must fuse the flowing grace of a receiver with the toughness of a middle linebacker. It is a position of persuasion and constant contact. Cornerback Cornell Green was the Cowboys' best one-on-one defender. While Unitas consistently overthrew his receivers, Craig Morton.
At times, the Cowboys secondary blanketed the Colts so effectively that they resembled the intended receivers.
The deep defense was manned by 3 All-Pros, Mel Renfro, Herb Adderley, and Cornell Green.
3rd down and 3, Coward. Hart throwing for the first down, and it's picked off by Cornell Green. Now it's a foot race with Jimmy Hart. And Hart wins at the 6-yard line.
Well, they got a little sparkle in that one. Now Cornell picked that one off. And Jim Hart, I might add, made a great play to save that one from being a touchdown. There was nobody in between the goal line except Jim Hart. All right, you see Hart. This is from the end zone camera. Hart comes back. Now, Jim's looking over there all the way. Cornell's looking at that quarterback, too. If all was, I don't know whether it was underthrown or not, but he was obviously looking right at Jim Hart.
Far. Cornell Green making the stop at the 41. Pick up a 4. It'll be 2nd and 6. 3rd and 5. Lions from their 35. Cowboys had the blitz working. Chuck Hughes was the intended receiver with Renfro covering, and Cornell Green came blowing through from his strong safety position. Far. Lilly. Dave Edwards. Cornell Green making the stop at the line of scrimmage.
On 3rd down, number 34, Cornell Green blitzed Brody, causing his pass to fall incomplete. Willard was the intended receiver, and he had an angle on linebacker Dave Edwards.
The other drive ended with the most unusual play of the afternoon. Morrill handed to Sam Haverlack, who completed a pass to Hinton. Cornell Green ripped the ball loose, but neither team could recover it before it rolled out of the end zone. The officials ruled the play a touchback and awarded the Cowboys the ball on their own 20. Another look reveals the extemporaneous quality of this play. Haverlack was supposed to pass the ball back to Morrill, but Jethro Pugh, number 75, disrupted the pattern. Haverlack threw instead for John Mackey, but Ed Hinton caught it. When Cornell Green swiped the ball from Hinton's hands, neither team could recover it. Out of this offensive failure came a renewed determination on the part of the Colt defense.
Blitzing up the middle was Cornell Green, who necktied runners with reserve safety Charlie Waters, number 41.
This will be play 10 of this drive. 3rd down, and it doesn't get easier. Down Down goes Tarkington. Cornell Green coming in from his safety position, if you'll call it that, in a goal line defense.
The flow in the backfield went away from Cornell. His assignment, when he doesn't have anybody come out of the backfield, rush the passer. That's from a safety position, and that's exactly what he did. You saw the flow came away from him. There's no one to block him. He comes after the quarterback.
Cornell Green has just taken away the touchdown field position for the Giants. Pete Gogolak has come on. By 10 yards as Stan Tarkington looks over that defense. Bobby Duhan goes in motion. Again, trying to hit Houston deep. And again, Houston double coverage.
He was covered that time, wasn't he?
Graham maybe should look around for one that's getting single coverage.
One of the men covering Houston on that play was number 34, Cornell Green. Cornell was once a cornerback, not a safety. And as we watch the play again, what I was saying is that Cornell broke in against a wide receiver named Frank Gifford, who made mincemeat of him. Now watch this. Watch Cornell come up. That's it.
And
but the next year, when Frank couldn't run so well, he went against Cornell, and Cornell chewed him up.
Now it was 3rd down 10, and Manning rolled left again, and once more sighted Toomey pouring in. So Archie tried to get the yardage himself. A jolting tackle by Cornell Green brought him down 3 yards short. New Orleans was again forced to give up the ball.
For the Dallas Cowboys. On defense, they gambled with 8-man blitzes and dealt out a beating to Cardinal quarterback Jimmy Hart.
The shadowy shapes of Cowboy past haunted Landry. A symbol of Dallas defeat had returned wearing aqua.
Next up from The Ohio State University, a standout with the Browns and Dolphins, Paul Warfield is on this list. He was named the NFL's all-decade wide receiver team in the 1970s. He was on that, and he helped Cleveland win an NFL championship before winning 2 rings with the Dolphins.
To end the Paul Warfield curse, Landry dispatched number 34, Cornell Green, to follow every movement, to track him from sideline to sideline and cut off every inside route. With Green blanketing inside, but Miami touchdown hopes fell harmlessly off Warfield's chest. A replay demonstrates why. Warfield broke free behind Green, but the Dallas safety reacted back to deflect the ball.
Terry Bradshaw passed. Cornell Green soared high at the sidelines.
His inexperience surfaced all too swiftly as wily Cornell Green snatched away a sure touchdown. Just 3 plays later, on 4th down, Bradshaw's desperation pass was intercepted by Cornell Green. This time, a Dallas penalty canceled Green's trip to a touchdown. Bradshaw then drove Pittsburgh to the Dallas 33, and with just seconds...
Probes and picks like a master, but the Colts have lost the master's touch. For Dallas, the answer to Unitas was the Doomsday defense.
Doomsday rose up and crunched the Rams' Jim Bertelsen. It was euphoric to the lone Cowboy fan, who was but a needle in a forest of Ram backers.
But Dallas linebackers, like 55 Leroy Jordan, shut down the run.
Chewed up the Eagles and bit deep into the passing pocket of Roman Gabriel. Doomsday held its second straight opponent without a touchdown. And Roger Staubach blanketed. Dallas broke San Francisco in half like a twig and won its 4th in a row, 20-14.
2nd down and 9. There's a dog right there. That was a dog. Cornell Green on the safety blitz. Cornell Green, a 13-year veteran. And we were talking about experience. Alex and Howard earlier in the game. interesting to me that Dallas, in their secondary of Waters, Green, Harris, and Renfro, and their linebackers, they have 56 years of experience. Zimmerman, wide to the right for Gabriel. Gusine working under Guy Morris at center. With Tom Sullivan off the right side. He'll be short of the first down. He'll get 2 yards down to the 38. Hit there by Cornell Green.
Just seconds later, Phipps threw blindly into the waiting arms of veteran safety Cornell Green.
Cornell Green is one of the greatest people in the world. You know, I'll tell you a story about how Green, incidentally, his brother Pumpsy,
right, Red Sox,
was the first Afro-American player in the Red Sox chain. And so I went up to, it was March 5th, I went up to Logan, Utah, and that's a chore to get there. I went to sign a guy by the name of Cornell Green at Utah State University. They just had finished basketball the day before. And I had a deal with John Ralston, who was the head football coach, and Liddell Anderson, who was the head basketball coach. And I offered him $250 to sign. And he said, oh, no, I got to have a lot more than that. I want a lot more than that. And I wasn't smart enough to ask what is a lot more. And I'm trying to negotiate and say, well, you know, Cornell's never played football. He's never played football.
So he had played basketball there. Did he have basketball opportunities?
He was the first round draft choice of the Chicago Stags in the National Basketball Association.
Right. And he rather take a chance at football?
I think he liked the $500 initially.
And he had never played did he play like in high school at least?
No.
Nothing.
Mm. Right. So after about 3 hours sitting in Logan, Utah, I said, just incidentally, how much are you looking for? He said, $500. I said, you mean I've been here in Logan, Utah for 3 hours for $250? But let me tell you what took place. We went to training camp at Northern Michigan College. And our first game, preseason game, was in Norfolk, Virginia against the Baltimore Colts. And Cornell, in 3 weeks, was our starting left corner. Big, tall guy, 6'5", and great athletic, except when he had to play basketball against Coy Bacon when Coy Bacon beat him. Another one of our free agents. Yep. But anyway, what took place is you could always know when Tom liked you or didn't like you. If he didn't like you, you were Pearson. If he liked you, you're Drew. Right. And so he gets beat for a touchdown, and he's coming off the field, and Coach Landry said, Cornell, what happened out there? What happened out there, Cornell? He said, well, he stomped on my foot, and I looked up, and he caught the pass. He said, Cornell, why aren't you wearing your hip pads? He said, well, Coach, you know that part that hangs down in front? He said, been running my legs raw. Long story short, he'd been wearing his hip pads backward for his first 6 weeks of training camp.
He didn't even realize
and
it.
And he turned out to be a 5-time All-Pro player. Started 145 games for us.
Yes, unbelievable, unbelievable.